So I feel like throughout this course I've learned a variety of skills to become a better evidence-based practitioner. When I reflect back on the Journey of Oz assignment in the beginning of the semester, I feel like my own perception has changed in terms of my responsibility to educate my colleagues and my peers about evidence-based medicine. I remember when we in the first week when we did our interviews, I interviewed one of my friends and former classmates from undergrad who she knew the importance of evidence-based practice, but she felt like it was more for physical therapists. And throughout this course, I've obviously learned the importance of practicing athletic training with the best evidence and how to actually do that. So I think I need to revisit the conversation with her, and I have the responsibility to tell her that this is how maybe you can incorporate it in your practice by small steps, in terms of why don't you use this method to read or this method to search, because we do come from the same undergrad and we didn't have that much experience with it. So I am grateful for the course in that regard. I have learned through this course, again, that people's perception of evidence-based medicine is sort of off. I think that when talking to my classmates in the evidence-based medicine course, but also previous instructors and preceptors, I think we're really lucky to have this opportunity to be in these types of courses, because I don't think a lot of other athletic trainers are getting these types of interactions with other colleagues when we Skype. Reading or watching the videos that you have posted, I think, were really helpful. So I've also learned that patient values are a huge part of the evidence-based medicine triangle, I guess, not only in this course, but also in outcomes. I feel like I underestimated the importance of the patient values portion of evidence-based medicine, and now that I know how to incorporate that into my clinical practice, I think, a little bit better, and now even know how to quantify that, I think is a really cool component of what I've learned this semester. I think the 5-step method was one of the things that I valued the most. I think I really gained an understanding of what the article was trying to say and my own interpretation of the article, and my own, I picked up, I feel like, on a lot of limitations on articles that I don't usually pick up on, and the level of evidence, I think, was really helpful in terms of critically appraising the articles that we read. So I think that all stems from the 5-step method and truly understanding the article. What does evidence-based medicine mean to me? I kind of think of it like the building blocks of everything we do, and it's sort of like the foundation. You can't have successful athletic training practice without practicing evidence-based and using all 3 components. And I also think that it's ongoing, and it's a process, and it's not something that you kind of just decide that you're going to be an evidence-based practitioner. It truly is a skill, not only to read the evidence, but to actually understand and appraise the evidence and then apply it. I think it all builds on each other. So I sort of think of it as a foundation. I also think evidence-based practice and medicine is not a fad. I know we talked about this a little bit with some colleagues at NATA, but there was so many evidence-based practice presentations, and at some point we need to stop titling it evidence-based presentation. It just needs to be a presentation that's based on the evidence, that we are always practicing like that. Which I thought was a cool component. How will I implement things that I learned into clinical practice? I feel like the presentations that who we listened to during the face-to-face component of the DAT in the summer. I think my colleagues talked a lot about different interventions and treatment strategies that are important to them, which I thought was cool to not only
How many times
learn
did you
about
think something
their
was cool?
experience and their analysis of the article, but also figuring out what topics of athletic training are important to my peers, which I thought was cool.
No!
And then I think
That was cool.
in my clinical practice from this course, I'm better at actually answering my question with my searching. So making my PICO specific and being specific in my search to actually answer the specific PICO question. I've learned through this course that I wasn't being as specific as I needed to be when I was learning about PICO and making my own PICO questions from research methods last semester in the fall. But I think now that I'm more specific with my PICO questions, I can answer them easily or easier than I would have. And then I think I have definitely broadened my searching. I was guilty of just using PubMed or Google Scholar, but I think this course kind of made me explore Web of Science and EBSCOhost, which just gives me a little bit more insight on what's out there and which databases I can use, which I thought was really important.
If you said really cool, I would have been over it. I would have lost some shit.
What do I still have questions about? I'm okay with level of evidence, but I think I can say level of evidence are meta-analyses and systematic reviews, which I think I have pretty down packed. However, I don't feel very confident going the other way. So reading an article or looking at an abstract and saying, this is the type of study that they did, and this is the design, and this is the corresponding level of evidence with that study. So I think I need to explore that a little bit further, and I'm sure that with practice, particularly with the 5-step method of reading the article and answering more PICO questions with my searching, I'll get a little bit better at that. What am I most proud of? I think I'm proud of my colleagues, for one, and peers. I feel like every single one of us in the class is better at practicing in an evidence-based manner, which I think is imperative to moving the athletic training profession forward. I'm also proud of being able to tell my patients, like, well, this is what I found when I searched the evidence, and this is what, previous research has shown or literature has shown in terms of your injury, or this is why this intervention has worked because of the searches that I've done and the PICO questions that I have made because of my clinical practice. So I'm proud of actually being in the athletic training room and talking to my patients in a way that they can understand, but being able to speak a lot on what the evidence says. And then also, I'm proud of being able to, have scholarly conversations with my colleagues. I think it was...
You just want to be a nerd.
It was evident that during the face-to-face presentations, we all put a lot of effort into reading the evidence, making presentations, our papers, and I think with all of that came a lot of good conversation. And now that we've all practiced reading, critically analyzing, summarizing, writing abstracts, we're all a little bit better at communicating our scholarly work and other scholarly work. So I'm proud of that in terms of the classes in a general sense.
Hello.
And then I think my biggest challenge was probably the learning curve of using all of this technology. In the beginning of the course, even just filming myself speaking with my friend from home about the journey of Oz and their perception of evidence-based medicine, it took a while for me to actually figuring out how to record everything and upload it and what technology I can use and the different apps. I think that was just the biggest challenge from the start in terms of the whole DAT for me. But I'm grateful that I guess we've all stuck with it and figured out different techniques on how to film things and do our virtual practicals and collaborate with our peers, which I think is a really cool opportunity. So I think that was my biggest challenge.
She my trap queen.